and you
I'm
can't.
not touching their stuff.
I have no idea.
You don't know?
No.
Okay, then we're off and running with our experts.
During
I've
the
been having a
C
wood
word
shortage.
process, well, that can happen as you get older in life. Come on, man. This is a joke.
You put cologne on your butt?
Well,
So in order to play, you have to wear jorts.
I don't have George. I could probably wear a Speedo now.
Want to do that? No, you probably could.
He'll be over here tomorrow digging out a big-ass bush.
Sonny and share, like and share, whatever.
Yeah.
Just something and share. All right, I feel like we should have started the show with me already having cleaned my glasses, but here we are. Nevertheless, yes, hello, welcome to Larger Than Live, Gamble and Finn. He's Gamble, I'm Finn. This is the Reality Check Larger Than Live, and this is a very special episode. This is the episode everybody, Fred, was expecting last week.
Yes, took a little bit longer than anticipated, but we're good to go now. This is season 2, episode 1. This is kind of the Super Bowl edition, if you will, coming after yesterday, and in our brand spanking new Studio G.
Yes, and if you have any idea why it's called Studio G, feel free to put that in the comments, and we'll let you know if you are right or not. We spend hours with focus groups coming up with why we do what we do when we do it.
Focus groups are so important. I mean, in every walk of life. If you haven't ever experienced a focus group, whether you're in one or utilizing the information from one, don't.
Don't waste your time.
Yes, don't, please.
But I do think, Fred, this is a great, as we start season 2 here in the new year after everything miraculously flipped around for the good. I do think this is a great way to illustrate, again, your office can be anywhere you want, and one of the reasons we're going to talk so much about the Super Bowl is we're going to be the water cooler talk that you didn't get to have because you didn't go to an office. But as we discussed with our friends from Fueled Collective, again, keep in mind, if you don't need the full office space, but you need some office space and some functionality, Fueled Collective, they're in the Rookwood area, the perfect place. And they do little different events for their members. I think this Wednesday.
Wednesday is the first floor bar grand reopening.
Yeah, the rechristening. Yeah,
correct. Yeah, I guess they had some water issues, if you will, and it's a gorgeous bar, and they've redone that and ready to crank that thing open. I believe we're going to try to sneak up there.
I do believe we will make use of our membership there. But if you need office space, but you don't need a whole office, go check them out, Fuel Collective. And feel free to tell them we sent you, just if for no other reason, for having them look at you and go, who?
Yeah.
So that would be good.
What? You heard this where? Huh? Oh, okay. Sounds good. Write that down for me so we can check that out. Right?
Can somebody give me the membership director? I need you to look up a couple of names.
Yes.
Really? Who authorized that? Anyway.
Well, considering the last time I went there, actually, there was a key card issue.
Well,
it turned out to be their issue.
It wasn't.
But for a minute, I thought, okay, so we've just been cut off. It's all
no
over.
Different than at the radio station.
Right.
We go beep.
Yep. Now that's happened to you. That hasn't happened to me. I just forget mine.
Yeah. Well, that's
yeah.
true.
And a reminder.
Then I get the call. Brrr, hey, Fred, I forgot my key.
Yeah. I usually call. I give you advance warning because I know it takes you a little while to walk down the hall. But don't forget, on Thursday nights, the Reality Check with Gamble and Finn, 9 to midnight on 700 WLW, like this coming Thursday.
Okay.
Anyway, as we were saying.
As you mentioned, this is the Stupor Bowl edition because we've basically been in a stupor for about close to a year now.
Yeah.
And, it's funny, we were talking about just being so sick of winter, but it's, this is normally your cabin fever kicking, but we've all had cabin fever for damn near a year. So if you can make it through this next stretch, I think that's going to be key. And so that we don't get sued by the NFL, that's why we're also calling this the Stupor Bowl edition. Now, this edition will focus mainly on the game yesterday, all that water cooler talk, the halftime, the commercials. In fact, I think I even said to you earlier in the season that I would, on one show, don the jersey of the MVP of the season. And I'm going to be doing that here in just a little while.
Of course you are.
As a surprise.
Okay, can't wait.
For you. But moving forward, we are going to have different segments that we're coming to you with. We're going to have some interactivity. If there's anything that you would like to hear our take on that you haven't, feel free to put that in the comments anywhere, and we'll address that as well. Show and Tell is back. We've got a couple of other items that we're planning, but season 2, officially episode 1, is underway. So, Fred, let's revisit. Last week we posted 2 poll questions.
All right.
One was super big game related, and it was, who do you think is going to lose?
All right.
Unfortunately, 58% said the Bucks, so they were on the losing end.
Okay.
Of that with me.
Which I got to be honest with you, I would have said going in, I probably thought Kansas City had the better opportunity to win. But as we saw yesterday.
Well,
we'll get to that. I know it was a bad day for you.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me because I just learned to live with it, expected whatever you want to call it. But
well, and we'll get to that in a moment. The football gods hate me, and that's why I am giving up on the NFL after yesterday. There are a number of reasons, and I'll see if maybe you agree, maybe you don't, because we do agree that it is the one sport that seems to somehow be able to soldier through and make its way through and still has a rabid fan base and that sort of thing. But there are just certain parts of it that I don't think are for me anymore. We'll get to those. The other question we asked was about the C word and being cooped up. Because last week, I think I was on my 4th straight day of no showers.
Yeah.
In my,
I told you, I made it. My record is 5.
Okay.
And it depends on how you define like beginning and ending day. You know what I mean? Is it a full 24 hours times 5 or 4 or whatever the case may be?
I think the nose knows. So I would say that's probably when you become unbearable to yourself.
For me, it's I wear this. I call it my home uniform. I don the same thing around the house every day. So when that starts to maybe, I don't know, kind of get rough in the standing alone, and when I put it on, I'm kind of like,
it crackles.
That's when it's time. Like I just put one yesterday into the wash because it needs to go.
I will tell you, you're very Natalie dressed today. This is very fancy. I feel like a schlub in my flannel and my long underpants.
Look, let me tell you, with this new camera angle, these shorts didn't look so good. So I had to put some pants on. My legs, I was told by my lovely wife, like she's like, your legs are so white. And I'm like, well, I don't know what color you would expect them to be, but yes, they are.
It's throwing off the camera.
It was bad.
When they white balance against your calves.
It was bad.
That's bad.
Correct. I'm not going to lie. It looked, because my shorts are so damn long, they hang down a little bit below the knee. And then it was just a sea of white. It was bad.
Oh my God. Well, maybe what we could have done since I was wearing this dark shirt, maybe you could have just walked in front of me. We could have had like a lunar eclipse.
Maybe not. Now, what was our second poll
around this?
question?
The second poll was about the showering.
Oh, that's right.
So the options were 1 day, that was 13%.
Okay.
2 to 5 days, 63%.
Okay, okay.
5 to 10 days, 13%.
Oh boy.
And 10 days plus 11%. So think about that.
There's
5 to
no
10
way.
and 10 plus were neck and neck.
Even if I don't have any kind of physical activity, which I try to get some, but if I don't, man, over 5. I mean, getting to 5 is brutal enough on its own.
You also start to rub and chafe and start to smell things that aren't natural to the universe.
Really? For me, it's 1. The norm is maybe like on a weekend, maybe like I'll shower on a Friday and then I don't maybe go anywhere. Well, hell, you don't go anywhere now ever. But nonetheless, if there's 1 day in between, that's about for me. And it's funny. I've had conversations with people, even those who are working from home, and they're saying they like to just get up, take a shower, and just it gets you going. It makes you feel like you're like back in your normal professional routine.
I was doing that at the beginning.
Not anymore. Is that faded now?
No, because now I walk the dog, I do what I'm going to do, I paint or whatever, and then I'm like, well, I just wasted a shower at that point. So then maybe I'll do it later in the day. And then there's that tipping point. It's kind of happy hour for the shower where it's like, you know what? I'm not going to see anybody the rest of the day. What difference does it make?
See, that's what does it. When you get to that where you determine what do I have the rest of today, that's a determining factor as to shower or not to shower.
Right. All right. Well, that's
time to move on. Yes.
Those 2 polls. That is something else we're going to be introducing.
We are.
What we call a 2-minute warning, where you're going to realize that we've been given the signal off camera that we need to wrap it up because we may have gone on a little too long about some things that don't matter as well. Although that is sort of why we exist. It's Gamble and Finn live here in Studio G, the brand new look. Curious what you think about it. Here with Larger Than Live and some very cool news that we'll be able to share with you very soon about taking Larger Than Live perhaps out on the road for the Reality Check Roadshow. So we'll tell you more about that as well. All right, so let's get to the football game.
Right.
The big game, the Super Bowl of games. I am convinced that the NFL gods hate me and want me to quit watching football, so I am going to oblige. I'm not going to argue that Brady is likely robotic and the greatest player ever to play the game. Smartest player to ever play the game. But I just can't watch a league that has bent itself around what I perceive around the guy to protect that guy to the level that they have. And then you put Gronk on top of that. I mean, you couldn't have written a script that I hated
for
anymore.
It was a bad day for you.
Antonio Brown catching a touchdown pass.
No,
Are you fucking... Are you kidding me?
Right. I understand. I get that. That's that Steeler coming out a little bit. Yeah, we'll cover that out. There's some editing that we'll have to do. But here's what I would tell you. Well, let me ask you.
Okay.
There are two athletes who, to me, in their respective sport, there's a hint. It's not another guy in football,
Right.
who are truly, and there's a third I'll put in the mix, and you could go way back to the days of maybe like a Bill Russell with those legendary Celtic teams. And I'm throwing out baseball because I don't think one guy can have that effect in baseball. But there really are two guys who
I know who
think,
you're going to say.
Who would the other one be?
Michael Jordan.
No.
What?
Well, no. He would be the one that would go. He would be the asterisk because he was all Bulls.
Okay.
So all with one team. See, Brady, to me, what the 7th Super Bowl title affirmed for me with Brady is, a lot of this is Brady. And no question, yesterday, one of those that had to be just seething would have been Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels, the Patriots head coach and offensive coordinator. Because how much, and now you got to wonder, do the football pundits, now do we go back to that, how much was Belichick?
Was it the coach?
When
Yeah.
was it Brady? Because when you look, now thing about Tampa Bay is, look, Bruce Arians, the oldest coach ever now to win a Super Bowl, he's a good coach. I mean, there's no question about that. But you have to look at the parts that moved. Brady, Gronkowski, then they brought in Antonio Brown. They already had Mike Evans, Leonard Fournette, who was kind of a bust with the Jags. They had some really good guys on defense, Shaq Barrett, Devin White. I mean, and Todd Bowles, the defensive coordinator, is the last coach to win 10 games with the Jets. Think of that for a minute. What a defensive game plan. That was one of Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy for the very, very first time, I think, really got out coached.
They were exposed. Yeah. A little bit.
Well, and Mahomes, I mean, I was arguing with one of my sons earlier today, and I'm like, look, he's like, you got to get rid of the ball. You can't just – but look, they put so much pressure on him. And I brought this up, and I don't know, he thought I was crazy. Kansas City, outside of Kelsey, and Hill isn't really – he's really a guy you put in a lot of different positions. You need like 4 and 5 receivers to make a difference when you got that much pressure. They don't have that.
They were pinning him from the outside in, and they didn't call. And this shows you that I think his toe was bothering him more.
You could see it early on a couple runs.
Yeah, and if they didn't call more, let him come at you from the outside, step up, and then take off. I mean, that was normally the game plan. And the pressure on the quarterback absolutely was the big number one thing for both defenses. Yep. The first couple of series for Tampa, they looked out of sorts. They got into Brady, but they figured it out.
They did.
And that's where I say that the brain power and Bowles, the defense probably should have been MVP.
Right. Well, think about this. Brady's now won 7. The Patriots and Steelers have won 6.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. So my other guy, Michael Jordan, yes, is LeBron James. And I say, but you got to remember, he won in Miami, he won in Cleveland, he won in L.A. When you can go to 3 different teams and win championships.
But.
No but.
Big but.
No but for me.
That's a take.
What's the but?
When LeBron went where he went, and I will say this also boiled down to strong organizational power, because like I said, Fournette wasn't there,
right? He was.
Brown
Evans
wasn't there.
But remember this.
Gronkowski wasn't there, and they gathered around the people that he could work with.
But the guy, in this case Brady, and in the previous case of LeBron, Anthony Davis wouldn't have gone to the Lakers if LeBron James weren't there. So, I mean, I think that's what I mean. He went to Miami to join Dwayne Wade. I mean, my point is they're viewed as they're A, that good, and B, they're difference makers in getting others to want to play because they truly think they can win
I get it. But that just, to me, seems like the rich get richer. You put somebody in there, and then everybody wants to play with that guy for whatever reason, and then you just sort of naturally or unnaturally assemble that wonder
Some
twin
of that
power.
I'll give you, but so if Brady had stayed with New England this year, okay, what? They win 2 more games? They're certainly not a threat. But boy, oh boy, here's what's amazing to me about Tampa Bay. Don't forget, they hosted Kansas City during the regular season.
Yeah.
They had other games where they got torched.
Yeah.
And to reel off 8 wins, and look what they did in the postseason. They beat a Washington team that wasn't great but had momentum. Then they went on the road and beat the Saints, the Packers, and now they took down the Chiefs. I mean, that's an impressive road to winning a Super Bowl.
Well, it doesn't help or it doesn't hurt that the season MVP was also there to assist. as well. You want to? I told you I would put their jersey on. Well, maybe I'll just drape myself in it for now.
See, now I see this is
This is why I'm done. This is why I'm done. I feel like Brady's never really been hit because they make sure of it. I mean, if you saw Mahomes get sandwiched by those three guys all coming across,
I get it.
and Ndamukong Suh about took his head off. That guy's a jackass.
But he's pretty good.
He's still a jackass.
He's pretty good, though.
But they have I mean, the whole tuck rule is a Brady thing.
No question.
All of this stuff. This guy's never really been hit. And then this year, I've spent way too much time looking at officials on TV.
Where do you get that?
They're getting paid by the flag. I'll have you know, I have other interests, and I am also.
What do you do? Was that some kind of roller derby thing? Or what?
No, I am a referee for a charity kickball event every year, so I want to look the part.
Is that true?
Thank you. Yeah, Athletes for Alexis, my friend, his buddy. They raise money for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, and I decided to go ahead and invest in my own referee's
How do you
jersey.
referee a kickball event?
You just drink a bunch of beer and go, did anybody see what happened? Can somebody, are they safe? Okay, they're safe. Yeah. That kind of stuff. But I guess I got this whole year, I'm tired of the look at me stuff, running down to the corner Showtime cam that's been put there for you to do that with a timer on it. This is how long you have to do your stupid whatever.
But honestly, that's on the league for doing that.
Right, agree. And this is what I'm telling you. I've lost interest in a league that thinks this is what I want to see. And maybe I'm the old guy. I don't want to see that. I'm tired of seeing officials, too many penalties. Think about this. All of the plays that you see in these montages, the immaculate reception, these end zone catches, tiptoe this. If replay were in the game back then, they wouldn't have anything for promos. Yeah. All of those things would have been called back.
I will tell you this.
It's too much. It's too much. And the games take too damn long.
And Kansas City, though, was complete. I don't know how much of a factor this would have been because I still think Tampa was just better yesterday than Kansas City. But that one drive where they lined up offside, two guys take your pick.
That doesn't happen in every
They did on
every
the edge,
play.
though, but they held. I mean, they did. Those were penalties. And the one thing I'll give Brady kudos for is Tyrann Mathieu, who shut up, dude. Shut up. Brady just made you look silly.
Yeah, twice.
He got in your face because he knew what was going to happen. See, I got to be honest with you. Look, I don't like everything about Brady, but I respect the hell out of what that guy's been able to do.
I don't disagree with that, but that doesn't mean I have to like him.
You don't have to like him. A late-round draft pick who was really seen as nothing more than a game manager who's now turned into the greatest quarterback based on winning ever in the NFL.
Well, he's clearly the smartest guy to probably ever play the game. I do. I do believe that. He knows when just to take the ball and lay on it. Yep. He knows how to avoid a hit. He knows when to cry like a baby and a little bitch when he does get hit and get what he wants.
I remember when I said to you last night, when I talking at halftime, I said, let it go.
Yeah.
You got to let it go.
Well, I am. I'm letting it all go.
Hold on. Speaking of halftime, you're going to have to fill me in on halftime because I had a little issue. The combination of chicken nachos, chili cheese fries, and sliders caused.
Is it safe to say you spent the weekend in the bathroom?
Well, let's just say part of the weekend, at least this portion of the weekend, was spent not watching The Weekend. So we'll do that, then we'll get to some commercials.
All right, very good.
So what was your review of The Weekend?
I would say based on what they were up against, the stagecraft, and I guess he put a ton of his own money into this.
I was told he put like $7 million into it.
I think it was 700,000.
Oh, was it?
I think it was 700,000.
A couple extra zeros.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, just like our paychecks whenever they show up. Sure. But The
Weekend is a guy, right?
It's one dude.
One dude, okay.
And stagecraft was pretty interesting to look at. It looked a little bit like Pink Floyd The Wall when they all got out on the field.
I did see that.
And I just thought, Roger Waters was probably sitting around going, oh, will I be getting my check anytime soon for this? But the songs are not that remarkable to me. He doesn't strike. He's not a guy. He's not a difference maker kind of entertainer from a songwriting standpoint. A lot of people are talking about why has everybody got jock straps on his head. That's part of something that he did with bandages. And shouldn't matter what you look like if you're trying to be famous. There's a whole ethos behind that. So a lot of people were talking about that. I maintain those were Gronkowski and Brady's jocks over their heads that they borrowed from the officials because they were sniffing him the entire first half.
Time to move on.
All right, well, I have moved on to halftime.
Okay.
So
did you like it? Not like it?
It didn't.
Okay.
I didn't hate it as much as I was expecting to, but I didn't love it as much as Prince and U2
Right. No,
and
I'm
some
with
of
you
these
there.
others. It wasn't really political, which is fine. It just was, to be honest with you, it gave Kansas City some extra time in the locker room to try to work some stuff out, which they clearly did not do. But it was like, man, I didn't love it or hate it really. And
What'd you
that's
think
rare.
of the pregame songs?
I thought it took too long. It's just too.
What'd you
I
think
mean,
of the Eric Church?
Well, clearly that was done for a reason. I mean, all the social justice and the unity and all of that stuff. And
I gotta tell you, whether you believe in what they're saying, that is the NFL from the beginning of that has been on top of that.
Of course they have, because that's what they do best. They latch onto a cause and make it seem like they thought of it.
Yeah.
Cleats, they used to find guys for messages on their cleats. Now it's their idea.
But it seems to them, when you look at the brands of the professional sports league, they clearly are at the top.
Goodell is the king of the chameleons. There's no question whatsoever. Because let me ask you this, Fred. What was the big cause last year? What did you see in every game somehow, somewhere that you haven't seen at all this year? The military.
Oh, yeah.
Because all of a sudden the Kaepernick thing set off this whole anti-military, anti-police, and they licked and licked and licked the military over and over, week in and week out, which they should be doing anyway. But it vanished this year in favor of unity and this, we're all in this together, and write down their name and remember their name and all of that stuff. And that is all just calculated. They don't mean that, and they don't mean it. It's all calculated.
Well, I would tell you, I think they're when after the George Floyd incident, I would tell you the George Floyd murder. Excuse me.
Yes,
murder. I would tell you the players of the NFL. I think they meant it. I think they're the ones that went to Roger Goodell. They're the ones that went there. Now, again, some of them have actually done things. I know where you're going with that. I get it. You've got to do more. You can't just say it. At some point, you got to do it. Well, and I guess the question becomes with a league like that is there really a difference being made? And that's the question that I don't know what the answer to that is.
That's always my question. What did I tell you? It was time to quit marching and yelling and start sitting and talking. What's been done? Nothing that I've seen.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there's nobody better at the NFL than shooting video of guys handing out dinners at a shelter with their jerseys on. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, honestly, you can't say this is all the things that we do and then all of a sudden pretend you're doing all this stuff behind the scenes. You know what I mean? And I think they took a cue from the NBA when the guys in the NBA said, we're not playing this particular game.
Right,
and they all said, and Goodell sitting around going, well, we can't have that. So they just put full tilt bozo into the whole thing. They put everything they had into the machine that is the NFL, make it seem like it's their idea, and there you go. I thought so there was nothing about the national anthem that surprised me. It made perfect sense to have those two partnered up. America the Beautiful, I thought was okay. The poet laureate girl that was at the inauguration doing her bit was fine. I don't know, just the pregame.
It's a lot. Well, if you're somebody that wants to watch a football game and doesn't really care about all the surrounding entertainment elements, I get it. It is long. It is very, very long.
Well, did you see? And you probably didn't see this. We turned it on. I don't know, about an hour before, 90 minutes beforehand.
30 minutes before.
And we turned it about 90 minutes on, and then we just decided we were going to watch some episodes of SpongeBob, or I don't know what the hell. We watched some, and then we turned it back on in time for something that they did that apparently was aimed at 5-year-olds, with Brady with a filter on his face. Well, and Jay Farrow was asking questions and all that stuff, and then Brady they reveal it to be Brady, and these kids are stunned. They can't believe that it's Tom Brady, and then he looked as plastic as he's ever looked, trying to fake his way through being a human instead of an automaton. But let it go. But who was that for? Who was that for? Was that for the kids, the 9-year-olds that are buying LCD TVs at Costco for $4,000?
But I will tell you, when they did the Saints Bears game on Nickelodeon, they're just it's the NFL, man. That's that olive branch out to the kids.
Yeah, the slime in the end zone is good and all that stuff. But doing that piece in the pregame for adults.
But think about this. Well, but you got to figure on Super Bowl Sunday, there's a hell of a lot of kids watching.
No, they're not.
They're
playing their whatever.
See, now we're gonna see. Look, you got to get over. We're gonna start.
They're not watching TV.
Right, let's go on to commercials.
All right.
Now, give me first and foremost. Give me your overall reaction to the commercials, and I'll give you mine. And then I'm gonna give you a surprise. The three that I think were my favorite are all three from the same category.
Okay.
All for very different reasons.
Well, I will tell you my overarching
Yes.
opinion is that there are a bunch of ad agencies that should be fired because
Ad
they
agencies
wasted
making a ton of cash.
a
my friend.
lot of money.
I would tend
They
to agree
wasted
with
a
you
lot
there.
of money. Can I start with my list of dumb and see if you agree?
Sure.
All right. It's a long list. Do we have time for this? Yeah, we still got.
Take a look at the clock, please.
All right. I'm looking.
All right.
All right.
Now, I will admit to you if I wasn't paying attention when
All
this
right.
commercial was
The
on.
pregame, there was
Okay.
one with Geico with Boomer and Phil.
I saw that.
Okay, that was dumb.
Yeah.
And they usually hit it pretty
Yeah.
right out of the park. Pizza Hut with Craig Robinson playing Pac-Man. I think they completely missed the opportunity to make the pizza with one slice out of it look like Pac-Man and start eating pepperonis off the screen, but whatever.
Sounds good. I'm kind of hungry now, by the way.
The Brady filtered Nickelodeon thing, I'd put
You
that
don't
in
like
under
that,
my
right. Anything
dumb
with Brady,
category.
just put that in there.
The Paramount Plus promos for CBS were brutal.
Well, there's too many of them. for
Well,
starters.
they didn't make any sense at all.
Right, I would tend to agree with that. In fact, if it, and I obviously saw Paramount Plus, but I kind of went, okay, like what else am I supposed to glean from that?
Right. It's just another way to make you have to pay for stuff you were getting for free.
Which I love.
And
Fantastic, right.
every once in a while, they would come in with like these little 3-second inserts of Romo and Nance going, "Oh, that looks like Mount Vesuvius." Yeah, it sure does, Jim. And then they go away. And it was just another kind of
Right, I get it.
infiltration of your brain. The Pringle Stacks commercial where they missed the people out in the lunar module in the ocean was stupid. But what was funny, they came back after the first one, and a guy named Pringle ran the ball back on a kickoff.
He did, right,
pretty
for
nicely.
Kansas City, right.
The Oatly, did you remember Oatly, the one with the guy sitting out playing the keyboard when there's his milk with no cows
I missed
sitting out in
that
the middle
one.
of the field? That was
I
dumb.
must have missed that one. Glad I did.
Amy Schumer is the Hellman's, what was it? Fairy God Mayo. It's brutal.
Yeah, that was bad.
Brutal.
I'm not gonna lie, that wasn't good.
I put this one under dumb, and it should have been under middle. Jason Alexander hoodie. That was kind of
that was
funny.
okay.
Dr. Squatch soap
Okay.
for men. Did you see those?
I did
Dr.
see
Squatch,
those.
those are irritating.
I just
Jimmy John Sandwich, the sandwich wars with Brad
Right.
Garrett, with
Right.
him playing the mafia guy for sandwiches, stupid. T-Mobile with Gwen Stefani, I don't know. Rocket Mortgage, pretty sure with Tracy Morgan. I can't stand him anyway, so I don't think those were any good. Fiverr. Fiverr. Did you see the one for Fiverr? I still don't know what they do. I watched it twice. I don't even know what they do.
I miss Fiverr, and I'm glad I did because I don't know what the hell they do either.
The Cheetos, It Wasn't Me with Shaggy with Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher. That was dumb. Car Shield with Ric Flair, bringing Ric Flair. Woo!
I did see that.
Well, just so you know, we tweeted out, "Woo!" That was terrible.
Right.
So I thought I'd fill you in on that. Klarna, where you can make small payments, where it was Maya Rudolph
I saw
Maya
that.
Rudolph's on little baby horses going in. I don't know what that was. And then the Amazon Alexa ones with the guy in the bathtub, I thought were dumb.
Category. I thought there was one category where, for me, three for very, very different reasons. And again, I thought did a pretty good job.
Okay.
And I would tell. Do you know what that category is?
Automotive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Will Ferrell.
I thought Will Ferrell
was really good.
from a humor. I mean,
Yeah.
and I got to be honest with you, Will Ferrell could just emerge from like behind a curtain, and I think I would
Start
just
laughing.
laugh. I mean, some of the stuff, but I thought that was well done.
Yeah.
I thought the script of that and the play of that was really well done.
Well, especially with EV, everyone in or whatever, and the EV highlighted, and then him ended up in Sweden.
Right.
I mean, it was. I thought that was really well done.
I'm not gonna lie.
And he shows up, and he's still got his fist through the globe.
Well, that's what I love when he was on the barge with the globe. I'm not gonna lie. When I saw that kind of picturesque look of Sweden, I thought,
Yeah. Oh, this place is adorable, he says, or something like that. I thought that was
All right.
pretty good.
So there are two more.
That's under my good.
Okay.
Okay.
Two more auto for me.
Well, the one is the winner of the entire Super Bowl, and I think I know which one that is.
Well, there
for
were
you.
there were,
It was automotive.
yeah, but I think it's between the other two. For me, it's between Jeep and Toyota.
Jeep. That's what I was going to say.
Jeep,
That's the
well,
one
no.
that won it all.
Jeep with Springsteen and the way that was done, and the thing that they went, like they filmed that like the last 2 weeks in the Midwest.
Yeah.
I mean, that was, and not only did they do that, but they paid for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
They extended that spot. I thought that was, because and it was funny. I heard some idiot on, I want to say the Today Show this morning.
That's your fault.
Well, I'm sorry, it was just on.
Okay.
I turned anyway. Talking about, yes, Bruce Springsteen, the perfect guy. He recorded "Born in the USA." I want to be, hey, dumbass.
Yeah.
Do you not know what that song is about?
No, you
which
don't.
he has no clue. Which is exactly why when you think of Springsteen being in the middle, to me, that's what made it.
Yeah.
And he
Because he's a guy that typically gets out and preaches one way or
Correct.
the other. And he has even understood the necessity for finding that middle.
Right.
And I was looking at him like, who's this for? And then I saw him getting an old Jeep. And I'm like, I'll bet this is a Jeep commercial.
Yeah.
Because you really had to kind of fish for it there. But the phrase reunited we stand is brilliant.
Correct.
And that is where we need to be. It really is.
And that made me actually go to Jeep.com just to see kind of I watched it again because I thought, and he's got that perfect delivery and just, you know.
He's the everyman.
He
He
no question.
and I think he lost a lot of people when he went from being just that everyman blue collar in it for the worker. I mean, you're right. Most people have no idea what Born in the USA is really about. But it's one of those things where I think
he lost it. If you remember,
he got too preachy. Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, though, and I'm terrible at names, and I don't care about Hollywood and romances and that crap. But remember, who did he marry? He was married to somebody.
Oh, Juliette Phillips.
Okay, who was out of his.
She was a supermodel.
Correct.
At the time.
Okay, so then, but remember how that wound up ending. Remember, he was then with Patty in his band.
Yeah.
That's more Springsteen. You know what I mean?
Well, cheating on her with Patty in the band was very middle of the road.
But I thought that one was really well done, and I thought the Toyota spot
with the adoption
from the embedded story about. I thought that was really about, you know, and that was funny because that was just there was another overriding message. Didn't tell me anything about a Camry or about a Highlander. It was about And that was really well done.
There were certain advertisers that got it this year that they know you didn't want to be sold. You wanted something that uplifted you, that made you think about something different. I was surprised there weren't more people that did ads like Bud Light Seltzer did with the lemons, with the lemonade, which I thought was really well done.
That was pretty well done.
Well, my favorite part was, and it made me think of me and you, was the guy getting hit and he wrecks his bicycle, and the guy that's laughing at him just gets pegged in the pie hole.
Yep.
But I thought that was really
that's a good
But I didn't think there were as many referencing how terrible a year we had than I thought there were going to be. Let me run some of what I think were the mid-level could go either way. There was one very early on about going to space. You could register to go to space.
Saw that, yep. Which I'm not interested in.
Well, I know, but I wonder if they're taking nominations.
Would you go?
No, but I'd like to nominate a handful of people.
Right,
I know they only have 4 winners, but I got a whole Kardashian family that we could put up in there. DoorDash and Sesame Street could have gone either way.
Yeah, that was okay. I mean, it was.
Yeah, I get it, the neighborhood and the whole thing.
Right.
The Bud Light Legends one where they brought all the legends back, the Bud Light, and then the I Love You Man and the dancing bottles and all that. I mean, that took some thinking.
It did.
And was to get all those people back, Cedric the Entertainer and all that. I thought that could have gone either way.
Yeah, that was okay. I mean, it's
Scott's with all the celebrities. That's another one where they had all the celebrities. Yep. And once Kyle Busch shows up, I'm done. I'm out. To me, he's another one.
You know what? We're gonna have on one of these programs. We're gonna have your list.
No, it'll have to be an extended edition.
It'll be part 1 and part 2. It'll carry over. But I just want your list.
Let's see. Verizon 5G it was with Samuel L. Jackson about gamers not being able to do, because I don't care about that. Yeah. The Mick Ultra, the happy win. You know, are you happy when you win, or you win when you're happy? Right. To me, it almost is like so many advertisers have now just everybody's making a Nike commercial.
Yeah.
Do you know that feel, that vibe that they have?
Well, that's why the Jeep and Toyota, again, the GM with Will Ferrell, funny, humor. Yeah. But the other two, the embedded messaging, to me, that's what made those spots.
All right. Very quickly, Squarespace 5 to 9 with Dolly Parton.
I missed that one.
She wasn't in it, but she was singing in it about 5 to 9. It could have gone either way. And then the Mick Ultra Seltzer with the lookalikes. That one was could have gone either way. First time I saw it, I didn't like it so much. Second time I saw it, it was better.
But I get it. I mean, as an advertiser, it's the biggest stage you can be on. But I really think you're right. Overthink, underthink. And I think that challenge of producing because when you're putting out that kind of thing about it, that's for the spot, let alone for the production and everything.
The talent,
else.
everything.
I mean, you're looking at that's probably a $6 million for one? I mean, that's a lot.
Maybe more. And then these to me
right.
were the best.
Okay.
Springsteen, to me, that one won.
Okay.
Anheuser-Busch, Let's Grab a Beer.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Because that wasn't just Bud. That was all their
Correct.
brands. I thought that was great. The Edgar Scissorhands Cadillac hands-free was just weird enough.
It was weird.
And having, what's her face, Molly Ringwald, what's her name? That was in Edward Scissorhands. Winona Ryder. Yeah, Winona Ryder.
Like Ringwald, Winona Ryder.
Sorry, and I'm doing the Scissorhands.
You are.
Wayne's World Uber Eats. I don't like the Uber Eats spots for the most part, but that one I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I'll give you that.
And they look exactly the same.
Oh, they do.
They look exactly.
It made me almost wonder, like, did they just record this, or is this?
Yeah.
No, they do look.
Or did they do
exactly the
that
same.
creepy thing that they did with Vince Lombardi at the beginning of the game? We didn't even talk about that.
No.
GM from Norway, that was good. Flat Matthew Doritos 3D. The Flat Matthew McConaughey. That reminded the Bud Light, I think, did a spot like that. He ends up inside a Doritos machine.
I had a little rotation going during the game.
Yeah.
Where I had to step out a couple times.
Progressive hit it out of the park again with "I'm not going to let you turn into your parents." They had another good one with that guy.
I love those.
It was great. He goes, "You don't have to read the billboard out loud. If you can read it, they can read it."
Right.
And then I think, and I hate to admit it, State Farm with Drake from State Farm.
Yep, I saw that.
I thought that was good, and I love Paul Rudd. Anything, I'm like with Paul Rudd the way you are with.
By the
with
way,
Farrell.
Vince Lombardi at the well. Here's the thing for me about Vince Lombardi: these dudes today wouldn't last a week, maybe a day with Vince Lombardi.
Right.
I mean, no seriously.
Question. And I got one more.
Okay.
All right. And you let me know what you think.
All right.
The very beginning of the game, the Sam Adams guy releases the Clydesdales. Goes, "Oh, I didn't see that coming." And you think it's a Budweiser spot, and you're like, "Oh, I thought they weren't doing a spot." And then it's your cousin from Boston. I thought that was very, very good.
Well, see, but that's creative.
Yeah.
I mean, that's creative, but not over the top.
I thought it was
that's
really
a good. Yeah. So I mean, I guess at the end of the day, we just went through some. See what I'm trying to get you to be happy.
Yeah. Well, the list of sucked was far outweighed the list that were good, as is usually the case.
Oh my God.
Hey, we're running up against the clock.
Yeah, but hey, make sure we didn't reset enough.
No.
People, see, we'd be called in right now to the program director's office and be chastised for this. It's Campbell and Finn, larger than live, here from Studio G, which is where season 2 will be coming to you, emanating from, if you will. This is episode 1, the Stupor Bowl. So
Yeah,
there
until
you
we're
go.
able to get back outside. Which
Yeah,
we
and
will.
I'm going to have to tell some of the story behind some of this.
Yeah, there's a lot.
a lot of nonsense going on here.
A lot of bits and pieces of who we are.
And you are correct. If you see something and you want to know, like, what is that? What about that? Feel free to hit us up.
Yeah.
And we'll try to answer you.
And
And I like what you said earlier. If you've got a topic, so anything optimistic, you can throw my way. If you want pessimism, you can go that way. If you want something for us to discuss, to address, etc., we're more than happy to do so. Just send it to us, and we'll take it under advisement. That'll be one of the segments that will work into the mix.
I'm not a pessimist, Fred. I'm a realist.
Right.
All right. So, do we
Yes.
have time for show and tell? Do we have? We have to ask our producer. Okay, this is a big one.
No, this is a
And this
big
is a
one, yeah.
two-parter that we're going to share
Right.
because this is something that we were going to make available to you. This is something we worked on during the off season, if you will. You may or may not know that I also work with American Cornhole, which is the professional sanctioning body of the sport
It is.
of cornhole based in Milford.
That's
I've
right,
been working with
yes.
them for about a decade. And one of the things that has kind of come about as a result of this, there's new technology. They've changed the way the bags are made, the boards. There's
Yeah.
some great stuff out there.
And this is, this is like legitimate professional. This is like real cool.
No.
Like this isn't like Fred down the block
No.
just wants to go out and toss a few.
No, we're getting ready actually for the 16th World
Right.
Championships.
Correct.
With over $50,000 to $75,000 in prize. It's pro cornhole. We have the opportunity to customize boards, so we did. We have Gamble and Finn cornhole boards where you get a chance to stick it in our hole, which sounds way worse than it was supposed to. But you can check this out. There's a link, AmericanCornhole.com. If you go to custom boards, I think we're the last one on the last page, Fred.
Of course we are, Fred, but at least
nevertheless,
we're there.
These are serious,
Right.
solid,
Yeah, they are.
heavy-duty, long-lasting boards. You may never need another set. They are festooned, if you will, with our images, and they turned out really cool.
I'm learning stuff today.
Well, during the off season, I took a couple of vocabulary
Did you now?
courses.
Okay.
I did. But so that's my show and tell is these boards that you can get at AmericanCornhole.com featuring Fred and Fred.
It's actually our show and tell, yeah.
Yeah, this is good stuff. That was my part of it.
Oh, yes. And then the bags, right?
Yeah, you can't play cornhole with that.
Right, you can't. And you want to look at us and see us every time when you get ready for your motion. You see us.
That's what we want. Every time you have your bag in your hand, we're looking up at you.
Just think about what we actually have done. I mean, we've talked about how we're better suited for audio, right, and video. So now we want people to throw bags with our images on them into boards with our. But I will tell you, they are cool. And I've had some for some of the events that I do. I've had some cornhole boards made. Nothing like this. I mean, these are. I mean, I'm going to personally buy one. Just because when I get really mad at me or you, I'll just go out back. But they're all if you want a set, you'll love these. Check it out.
Again, AmericanCornhole.com. Go to the custom boards page. You can find them. We'll put the link up in here as well.
Yep, we will.
But and they will last forever. These are really good boards.
Yeah.
And we should probably, we talk about our images, we should thank our boy Screamin' Jimmy.
Absolutely.
Because he did mine long ago, and I asked him if he could work one up for you. And this was pre-weight loss, but still
it's still
pretty accurate.
Yeah, it's very accurate.
Pre-glasses,
Yes,
eye surgeries and all that. But we love the images that Screamin' Jimmy did for us. In fact, we haven't changed them, even though I cut off all my hair.
And here you go. I mean, these are readers. My wife. Oops, hang on.
That's good.
That's all
so
right.
anyway, that's our show and tell.
They're very dirty. By the way, these readers, I can't see.
That's perfect.
They're very cloudy.
Well, the good news is you don't have to read anything. All you have to do is wave that way.
I wouldn't be able to.
Because we're going to wrap things
camera right
up
there.
here.
Look. Hi.
All right, very good.
Can't
So,
see anything.
still more information on a podcast that's coming.
Yes.
Figure out exactly what we want that to be. Don't forget our YouTube channel. Smash that subscribe button. It's free to subscribe.
Yes.
Gamble, capital N, Finn. Follow us on Twitter. That's really where most of our communication has been these days. And then Instagram Paul over here will handle the rest.
They shouldn't be that wide out. Shouldn't they be in like tighter to my head? See how wide they are? These are pieces of crap.
Yeah, it's all right. Well,
I got nothing but again, I wore women's perfume for 2 or 3 months. Now look at this. I can't see. It's no damn wonder I can't see.
when you buy your glasses and they fit them using a bowling ball, that's usually the first signal there's a problem.
I think somebody in my family said, you can go get like 20 of those for $10. I'm like, awesome.
That was me.
Oh, that was you?
I was going to bring you some from Costco. They're 3.3 plus. So you should probably get some of those. Anyway, that's enough free ads for Costco.
Okay. Right.
All right. I think that's pretty good. I think we covered it, Fred.
We did.
Thanks for checking it out. Season 2, episode uno here in the, because we're trying to be inclusive.
Yes.
Here in Studio G. And looking forward to the whole new studio.
We absolutely are in the whole, and we'll be in, and it looks like, boy, the Arctic, what do they call it? The polar vortex.
Yes.
This week looks brutal. And the rest of the month, if you believe the almanac, we're going to freeze our ass off in February.
Stupid. Punxsutawney Phil.
And you're going to be even grouchier.
Might as well put a Tom Brady jersey on that stupid groundhog.
You know what?
Kick it through the uprights.
I might have a little surprise for you next week, what I may wear.
That'll
just
be great.
For the
All right,
so
I'm going to be sick that day.
We're done.
All right, I think that's pretty much going to do it. He's Gamble, I'm Finn. This has been Larger Than Live, Studio G, House Gamble. And I'll tell you something, we appreciate you guys watching, because if it wasn't for you, there'd be no need for us. And we are out.